Alright guys, what's up? We're on the back deck, side deck, whatever the hell. And I just wanted to talk about something that I wanted to wait to talk about, and that was the attempted assassination of former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Obviously this shit happened like last weekend, and everybody just flooded the internet and social media with all kinds of wild shit and theories and misinformation, disinformation, just shit that was just, patently false. I wanted to wait until some of the dust cleared from some of this stuff before I even got involved in the big ass circle jerk of just shit flying all around through the atmosphere. Yeah, I had some conversations with some personal friends and family about it, of course. Yeah, for sure. I hadn't been like 100% silent on it. That's not what I'm saying. But I did not want to just run out and jump on YouTube and the internet and just start spouting off a bunch of crazy shit. There's far more than enough people doing that. And some of them are probably closer to the truth of what happened than others. I'm of the belief that we will probably most likely never really know the full story of how this happened and some of the breakdowns and stuff like that appear to have been the case, as far as possibly some shortcomings on behalf of the personal security detail and Secret Service and so on and so forth. But shit happens. I think that this is rapidly becoming another way for us to be divided yet again, especially even people who are particularly leaning towards the conservative side or the right side or whatever you want to call it. And I know that I most certainly understand that both of those wings are a part of the same bird. I get it. That's why I don't typically get into all that crazy shit here or in real life, because I think once you get to a certain point in life and watching a lot of this shit play out, you kind of just get the point that I kind of equate this shit to being similar to wrestling. When I was a youngster, I used to like wrestling, and you thought it was real. Nobody could tell you anything different. But those guys come out there, and when the cameras are rolling, they act like they hate each other, and they want to kill each other. Basically, they want to see each other dead, and it's just an act, because when it's all over, they all go get beers and shit together and count stacks of money. That's the same thing that our politicians do. They act like they're at odds all the time, and I think some of them probably are to an extent or another, to some extent or another. But I think too that when you start looking at the establishment, of course my damn rooster's crowing, it's fucking 7 o'clock or something at night, whatever. But I'm sure that they do have differences, of course. People that live in the same household have differences. But as far as them acting like they're not on the same team, I think that that's largely a big pile of bullshit. And I think that once we start to understand and realize that as Americans, then I think we'll be better off, and we'll be able to form stronger communities and bonds, and understand that those people just typically don't have our best interests at heart. And that's evidence of the way that they conduct themselves, and the way that they act, and the way that they piss away our money and print more money and send it overseas. And all the while we have crumbling infrastructure and homeless people all over the place, and just a whole list of problems that we're plagued by here in the United States of America. But they'll send pallets of cash overseas to fund proxy wars and all this other bullshit. But anyway, back to it all kind of ties together. But as far as the whole Donald Trump thing, I think it's best that we could just at least all agree that for whatever motivation and whatever group of people was pulling the strings, they tried to blow the man's fucking brains out. Period. They tried to take him off the board. I think that we should all be able to at least agree that they tried to murder the man. They tried to assassinate him. I don't think that we need to really, what's that? I don't think that we really need to get wrapped around the axle about why. I think we pretty much know why, because he's not part of the establishment. He's not part of the cool kids club. He was when he was just a billionaire entrepreneur and business mogul. He was cool, but once he started talking politics and kind of trending towards the America First type of ideology, we'll just call it that instead of this right left shit, the America First type of ideology, then I think that's where he kind of alienated himself from being in the cool kids club anymore. You know, the wealthy, the elites. And once he done that, you know, everybody started sharpening knives for him. Well, most of the people in the establishment or whatever you want to call it. So that's been my understanding and my comprehension of the situation as it's played out over the last, I don't know, several years. Your mileage may vary, and that's fine. But I had to talk about it, and I had to kind of come on here and at least give my 2 cents on it. Like I said, there's a lot of weird stuff surrounding it. A couple things that I heard that were interesting to me, and this is the other part of it, is like we're waiting on some official investigation to conclude. Who's going to do the investigation? The FBI. Not the most trustworthy organization. No, I don't trust the FBI. Like, who the fuck trusts the FBI anymore? We've seen a lot of their bullshit come to light over the past, I don't know what, 8-10 years. They're a fucking joke, bro. Like, the way that they do shit is not on the up and up. They are part of the fucking deep state. Let's just call it what it is. They're run by people who've been deeply entrenched and put in place for decades by people from the establishment. That's who they are. That's who's pulling the strings over there. The DOJ as a whole, the FBI, all these other alphabet agencies, throughout all these different bureaucracies that are a part of our government, that make up our government, especially when you start looking at the executive branch. And that's why, you know, when Trump was talking about drain the swamp, that's why it was so hard. People were like, well, he didn't really do shit. Well, how? I don't think he really understood how. Nobody really understands the playbook on how to do this shit, because look, they've been putting this shit in place for 20, 30, 40 years. And now they're deeply entrenched. So it ain't like one guy's just going to come in there for 4 years or even 8 years and just clean all this shit up miraculously. That's not real. That's not really how this shit works. Anybody who thinks otherwise is lying to themselves. I'm not in the habit of lying to myself. It doesn't do anything for me. So, I think that if we're waiting on trying to figure out that we're going to get some official, oh, this is really what happened, who's going to tell us? Who are you going to believe when they tell you? I'm not going to believe any of these fuckers, any of these alphabet agencies. Oh yeah, they said it was this. You can't trust that. Like, you shouldn't be trusting that. So that's why I'm of the belief that we're never really going to truly know what happened. Just like when you look at anything, like look at JFK from all those years ago, people still don't believe anything that was officially put out about how that shit transpired. Rightfully so. Our government has a long history and rap sheet of telling us bullshit. They've been doing it forever, since the beginning. So, well, maybe not quite since the beginning, probably, but they've been doing it for a very long time, longer than I've been alive. So why would I expect them to tell us the truth about this? It's not going to happen. So don't hold your breath for that shit. But what I did hear is something that was kind of interesting, and you guys should go check it out. It was over on Mike Glover's channel. What's the name of his damn channel? It's evading me, but it's Mike Glover's channel. And it wasn't Mike Glover that said it. Was one of his counterparts, one of his guys that are involved in his company and his channel. And they were saying that the guy that was doing the shooting, or one of the shooters, I'm hearing now that there's reports of possibly 2 or 3 shooters, and on and on and on. But they were saying that the guy had just a holographic sight, no magnification on his rifle, an EOTech specifically is what I heard. So, I mean, 150 yards approximately, as far as the range. on that shot with just basically a holographic weapon sight, an EOTech, essentially a red dot, for lack of a better, way to phrase it. Zero, like no magnification optic. That would have been a hell of a shot. I've heard people saying that maybe they nicked his ear on purpose. That was the play. Come on, bro. Nobody's that good. Who the hell's that good to pull off a 150-yard shot and shoot him? I'm not saying nobody's that good. Somebody might be that good, but the guy's moving. He's turning his head. Like, the margin for error on that shit right there is non-existent. I mean, you could have very easily blew his brains out on accident. Come on, dude. No, I don't think that's what it was. I think the dude really wanted to pop his top. He was really looking to end him, and he just fucking missed. I mean, he was just off by what, an inch, 2 inches, and that's just the way it happened, because the man turned his head, and right when old buddy broke the shot, and you can't steer the motherfucker, and you can't call it back, so there it went. Just a bad shot. It could have been worse. It could have missed him altogether. It could have been worse, and it could have brained him. It depends on how you look at it. But I'm glad that the man didn't get assassinated. Yeah, obviously. I think that things are going to be, I was in my mindset, I was thinking, this is going to be one hell of an election cycle, because we seen the stuff that went on during the 2020 election cycle, and we seen how all the stuff was with all the rioting and stuff like that, and what they call the summer of love, and we had all the BLM, we had the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, we had the Antifa, we had all this crazy turmoil going on in our country. And I think that for them to already, for whoever the them is, to already be trying to assassinate the former president and, Republican nominee now, I think, and it's only July, there ain't no telling what the hell we about to be seeing. So that's what I do think is something that I can speak to you guys about, is that I think we're in for one hell of a wild ride. And I think that the time is upon us to be making our preparations and solidifying our SOPs and stuff like that, so that we can have a clear understanding of what it is that we are going to do to protect our loved ones and to continue to be able to provide for their safety and well-being when things get chaotic. And that's a big, broad spectrum approach, and that's a big deal. And it's not just any one line item or sheet of paper that's going to accomplish that, or one training course or anything like that, or one skill set. But I think that's just where we are as individuals and as families within this country. We just have to figure out, like, hey, this shit is serious. We've known that it was serious before now. There shouldn't be any doubt right now. I think too that if how can I say this? If Donald Trump was not a big deal and not really gonna be any thorn in their side or cause any problems for the establishment or for the deep state, I don't think they would have been fighting him as ferociously as they have since even 2016. They've tipped their hand on that. They really hate this guy, and they really hate the way that he speaks and the way that he tends to lead the country. And I think that goes back to kind of one of those sayings, if the government tells you you don't need a gun, then you need a gun. Well, they damn sure telling you in every language and every expression possible that you don't need Donald Trump. And obviously he's not perfect. He's not the perfect candidate, because there is no perfect candidate. I like to say sometimes that I don't agree with 100% of the shit that I say personally, and it's me saying it. So that you gotta take that shit with a grain of salt, because things change. But I think that he's definitely a far cry better than what we got. Yeah, he's done some anti-2A shit. I get it, with the bump stock bans and and everybody will say, oh, well, he used to be a big time liberal for most of his life. And okay, what you gonna do? Stay home? Stay home in November? Or vote for who? Who you gonna vote? You gonna vote third party? You gonna do a write-in? You might as well not even fucking go down there, because that ain't gonna do anything except embolden the other folks that are trying to get Joe Biden reelected. We don't know if he's gonna step down. They're calling for him to step down. You know, they want to put somebody else up there, probably Michelle Obama, or, I mean, you know, who knows? I doubt if they would try to run Kamala Harris at the top of a ticket, because she's a fucking airhead, and she doesn't do anything except say stupid shit. Anyway, I'm being a little bit forthcoming, I guess you could say, but that's just kind of my thoughts. We're at 15 minutes, 16 minutes, guys. I think I've said enough. I probably said too much, but let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Chime in, hit the like. Let me know what, if I'm way off, if you agree or disagree. Let's just open the floor up for conversation. I'll see you guys soon. I'm out of here.